and welcome to this week's Hackers Podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
Now watch this drive.
Oh, what a drive! Hey there, sports fans. It's Zuuc and the Ashman. It's the ECG Hackers Podcast. It's episode 17. It's Thursday night here in Australia. I'm feeling good, and my good friend, brother Zuuc, is with me. How are you, man?
Mate, I'm pumped. Always good when we have these intimate two balls, just the two of us talking golf. So we haven't done one of these two balls in a little while, so looking forward to it. Plenty to discuss as always. Mate. Some of it exciting, some of it not so exciting, but all the same, an interesting conversation will be had.
Yeah, cool, man, cool. Anyone listening to us on Spotify, YouTube, or even we're going live on Instagram right now, please feel free to comment on Instagram and we'll give you a shout out. This is ECG. Everybody can golf. Couple of things I've done this week, Zuuc. I joined Golf 24, which is it's a very impressive indoor TrackMan golf club here on the Gold Coast. They had an awesome deal, so I set that up and very keen to start getting my stats like you do from my clubs and my yardage and whatnot, man.
Cool. So what is that? Does it actually have like indoor tournaments and those kind of things as well as just practice sessions?
Prize money. Yeah, got prize money. Cool. They've got tournaments. I initially thought it might just be good to do some get some yardage and whatnot, but yeah, they've got 3,000 courses, I think. Always updated. And I was hoping to maybe play the PGA course of the week as it is on the TV, play alongside sort of thing. But yeah. And can
I ask the Techo question? Are they TrackMan, GC Squad, or GC Quad, or Foresight, or what do they use? It's
TrackMan. I don't know the model, but I know they're $40,000 each. So got the cameras, got everything. Pretty impressive stuff. Excellent. It's the first time I've been able to use it, man. And now I see what you're talking about. Cool. As always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've got some news to start the show, and let's head to the news.
Let's get this show rolling like a perfect putt and head over to Zuuc in the ECG newsroom. Over to you.
Thank you, Belvedere.
Thanks, Belvedere. Last week's PGA, the action was at the newly renovated Colonial Golf Course for the Charles Schwab Challenge. Davis Riley held off Scotty Scheffler, Keegan Bradley, and Colin Morikawa to win by 5 strokes. However, it was probably tragic news that was announced on the Saturday morning that overshadowed the event. The unfortunate news was that Grayson Murray took his life on the evening of Friday or early morning Saturday. This was a tragic event that took place and certainly affected a lot of the players on tour. It was certainly Peter Malnati, who was playing with him for the first 2 rounds of the tournament before Grayson withdrew, actually, after 16 holes in the second round, was clearly emotional when he was talking with the media. And certainly probably something that I'm not necessarily qualified to talk about, but perhaps was suggesting maybe I might just read the statement that the family issued upon hearing the tragic news. So this is the statement on behalf of Eric and Terry Murray. We have spent the last 24 hours trying to come to terms with the fact that our son is gone. It's surreal that we not only have to admit to ourselves, but we also have to acknowledge it to the world. It's a nightmare. We have so many questions that have no answers, but one. Was Grayson loved? The answer is yes. By us, his brother Cameron, his sister Erica, all of his extended family, by his friends, by his fellow players, and, it seems, by many of you who are reading this. He was loved and he will be missed. We would like to thank the PGA Tour and the entire world of golf for their outpouring of support. Life wasn't always easy for Grayson, and although he took his own life, we know he rests peacefully now. Please respect our privacy as we work through this incredible tragedy, and please honour Grayson by being kind to one another. If that becomes his legacy, we could ask for nothing else. Thank you. So that was the statement that was issued, and clearly It was a somber ending to the tournament after that. Ash, what was your reaction to the news?
It's just shocking, but it just goes to show that from another human's perspective, fellow human, we all go through so much in our own personal lives, and it doesn't matter if you're a pro golfer or someone in the spotlight. I mean, the battles are battles, hey. And I guess us guys, we tend to bottle our emotions up a lot, and we don't talk to each other enough. So I know the only thing I could suggest, from a fellow human is, we need to talk to each other more and make sure our mates, especially on the golf course, it's a perfect time to ask how they're doing, I guess. And you learn from these shocking events, man. But we're all human, I guess.
Exactly. And perhaps those who aren't comfortable in terms of talking about such issues with their mates, I'll just put up on the screen for those watching on YouTube or Spotify, some helpline numbers for those dealing with mental issues. And obviously these numbers are for Australian, and I believe there are some New Zealand services listed as well. Naturally, we are operating in this podcast from the eastern seaboard of Australia. And so perhaps maybe these numbers may be of some assistance.
Great stuff, Chris. Thank you, man.
Moving on, obviously the big news a couple of weeks back was the arrest of Scotty Scheffler.
Yes,
early today, it was announced that the charges have been dropped.
Okay.
The Jefferson Court attorney, which I suppose is like the police prosecutor, in his announcement said that based upon a total lack of evidence, my office cannot move forward with the prosecution of the charges filed against Mr. Scheffler. Mr. Scheffler's characterization that it was a big misunderstanding is corroborated by the evidence. So,
right.
I don't know if you managed to see the leaked, or not leaked, but was made publicly available, the footage that was out there.
The one that was sort of shot over the back of the bus sort of thing, that angle?
Yeah. What was your thoughts on that footage?
It just made it even more ridiculous. From what you can see, it just seems like a total overreaction. And whatever Scotty Scheffler was saying that the cop didn't make himself known. You can see he didn't, in that situation, just seems like a huge misunderstanding. And I know I couldn't keep up, Chris, with some stuff on social media saying they're not going to drop the charges, and some are saying they are, and I couldn't keep up. But they're actually dropping the charges now, are they?
Officially dropped today. It's literally only in the last few hours, and Scotty's been all class throughout the whole process. I think he handled himself well, and again in his Insta timeline, made a post earlier today, just put up on screen, and again he just acting like a true professional, and just saying that he's not holding any ill will against the officer and the like. And so again,
amazing.
Just a tip of the cap to Scotty for the way that he's handled himself throughout the
absolutely,
throughout the
Chris.
Circumstances.
Absolutely. I know I wouldn't have been calm.
No, but moving on to other news and something again which highlights the divide between LIV and the PGA. Perhaps not what you would ordinarily think, but Richard Bland, one of the LIV Tour members, and one of LIV Tour members who are over the age of 50, and so therefore eligible for the senior tour. He was obviously,
which I am too. Funny enough, I am too now.
He was obviously at home, a little restless, and thought, let's see if I can get into the senior PGA. He did qualify by virtue of past wins on the DP World Tour, and upon his inquiries was granted an entry into the tournament. This was his first event on the senior PGA Tour, and lo and behold, he ended up winning. Ordinarily, the winner of the senior PGA, absolutely, beating off some. There's some
beating
off great
some
field. Bernard Langer, Ernie Els. There's some great names that are still willing to tee it up.
Bernard Langer's still going around, is he?
Still going around.
Bernard Langer. Jeez.
Yep. But typically, the winner of the Senior PGA Championship will essentially get a 1-year exemption on the PGA Tour Champions circuit.
Okay.
However, given the fact that Mr. Bland is part of what's considered a unofficial or non-recognised or a legal tour, however you wish to refer to the Live Tour in the eyes of the PGA, that 1-year exemption was not granted. So, they can't get in by,
doing the right thing, winning tournaments.
When they actually get in and play under their own rules, they're not allowed. Your thoughts on this, Ash? Feel free to rant.
It's absurd, mate. It's absurd, especially for a senior PGA. Like, he won the tournament. He's obviously one of the best in the world at the moment in over 50s. I just think this is ridiculous what's going on. I'm so sick of the Live versus PGA crap. Quite frankly, I think, that's ridiculous, Chris. I got not much more to say about it. What do you think?
Look, he got a check for $630,000 for winning, and he's made 9.8 million since joining
in the last 2 years.
I think he's laughing anyway. So
true.
I don't think he's too fussed. And then one other thing I noticed during the course of the week, just checking regular news or regular golf news, was some posts by Golf Digest around some of the work that they've done with respect to a computer algorithm.
Oh, I saw this.
A couple of posts that they put up here based on the computer algorithm that they have. A 10 handicapper is only ever expected to shoot a level par 72 round of golf once every 194 years.
It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous.
And then if we look at someone a bit more in our level, Ash, so based on their algorithm, a 20 handicapper, all right, would only ever shoot 80 once every 1,100 years.
Oh, my God.
And then someone in your sphere, a 15 handicapper, let's go a round of 80. That's once every 12 years. So
it doesn't make sense, Chris.
Interested on your thoughts here.
Yeah, please. When I was reading this, I'm going, okay, there's a fundamental flaw in it. The AI algorithm is not taking into account that if I'm playing for 12 years, I'm probably playing every week for 12 years. I'm getting better and better and better as you go, and it's not taking that into account. So can you flash that back up again for me, man?
Sure.
So if I'm a 15 handicapper, and if I'm playing for 12 years at 15, I'm going to be getting better, you would expect. So it says it's going to take me 12 years to shoot 80. I reckon if you're a 15 handicapper playing for 12 years, after 12 years, you're going to be in a 10 handicapper or 5 handicapper. Yeah. If you know what I mean? I reckon you're getting better as you go. You should be getting better as you go. It's not taking into account that your skill level is going to get better. So, do you know what I mean? If you're a 20 handicapper, Chris, you're a 20 handicapper. If you're playing for 1,100 years, you'd be a pro in 20. You'd be shooting 5 in 20. You would expect. Oh, that's absurd. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it's trying to put a bit of a ring fence around what the skill level is at the time. It's probably, like you said, not taking account that gradual improvement. But there were some interesting numbers there. Like a 10 handicap is only going to ever shoot 80 twice a year. I thought that was interesting. And then in terms of someone off scratch, based on the algorithm, they're only going to shoot 2 under par twice a year. So I certainly don't have the aptitude or the skill to comment on those outcomes, but it was interesting.
That's right.
The frequency was such so that clearly perhaps we're all maybe being a bit too hard on ourselves when we don't necessarily post the score that we are hoping for.
Yeah, I was talking to Tim from Discount Golf Balls when we were playing around a golf a couple of weeks ago, and there was I think at my current state of play, I try and break 90. It's all about 90. Trying to break 90. And the last time I played, I did, and I shot like 95 or 96 or something. But then there was some stat we were reading that only a very small percentage of people actually break 90. It was like less than 7% or 10% of players ever break 90. So to do that, you're actually playing pretty bloody good, apparently.
Yeah, I would believe that.
Shouldn't be too harsh. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess just finally, probably just a bit of a public service announcement and just a reminder that the Women's US Open is on this weekend. Obviously, Nelly Corder looking to extend her hot streak, but also, I guess, a bit of a Aussie watch. The Australian females have been playing really, really well. A lot of top 10 finishes. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's an Aussie in contention here.
Okay.
Obviously,
who do you think? Anyone in particular?
Yeah. Oh, look, Gabby Ruffles has been on a bit of a hot streak, and Hannah Green, the world current number 5, has been playing really, really, really well and was unlucky not to gain a win against Nelly the other week. And also Minjee Lee had a bit of a return to form with a top 10 finish last week as well. So I think the Aussies are in good stead. I'll certainly be watching and hoping that one of them will be able to challenge Queen Nelly in this event.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's really all I had. Ash, is there anything else you wanted to?
I did. You know, I was thinking today, and my wife actually asked because she came to Golf 24 with me, and she was asking about Min Woo Lee, and this is my wife who doesn't know a lot about golf, but it made me think: is Min Woo Lee Australia's best golfer at the moment? I reckon he is. I reckon he's our number one golfer. He's on the cover of the Australian Golf Digest. He's playing in the PGA, so he's got a higher profile, I would say, than Cam Smith at the moment. He's playing amazing golf. He hits the ball so long. The commentators love him. I actually think I'm going to go out and say he's probably our biggest profile golfer at the moment. And I'm really enjoying it. And what do you think? Thoughts on that statement from Ashman?
I'm
If
trying to think of
who would you think?
That's the thing. I'm trying to think of a counter argument, and there's really probably only one, and that's probably, there's probably two. It's Jason Day or it's Cam Smith, and they're the other two in the conversation. I would say Day has probably had better results of late, but results don't necessarily equal profile. Cam Smith probably had the biggest profile event being the Live Adelaide, and the way that the Rippers challenged and won the team event. That was clearly the biggest golfing audience that
and I guess if we're talking Australia, the Australian golf fraternity's probably lifted him up higher, maybe, but global, I would say Min Woo Lee or Jason Day would be bigger than Cam Smith at the moment. Profile wise,
I can see some validity in the argument. I can't knock you down too far on that one. So,
awesome. I think Jason Day with the Malbon Golf's done amazing things for his career too. The fashion statements he's making, it's all over the magazines. Like you look at the letters to the editor and everything in the golf magazines, they're all talking about Jason Day's pants, the baggy pants he's wearing. So I think he's done brilliant. Malbon and Jason Day, awesome bit of marketing. As far as I'm concerned.
Totally. Hopefully we're talking more about his game sooner rather than
that's true. Thank you very much, Chris, for the news desk. Back after this little
Big brand golf balls up to 70% cheaper than retail. We're one of Australia's largest sellers of second-hand golf balls, so you save big time. Discountgolfballs.com.au. Never pay full price again.
Welcome back, sports fans. It's Zuuc and the Ashman on the ECG Hackers podcast, coming to you from Australia. I'm in Queensland. Zuuc's down there in Sydney, Australia. We love our golf, don't we, Zuuc? Love our golf.
We do. Hopefully it loves us back every so often.
Yeah, I think sometimes it does. A new little segment we started a few weeks ago, Obsessions, where we get to talk about something we're obsessed about in the world of golf. Last week I talked about ball markers and stymies. I'm hoping whoever heard me talk about stymie had to think about that this week. I did actually upon reflection. I have heard that word used before, where you kind of stymie someone's plan. So I think it's something that has transitioned from golf into the broader vocabulary, but it's probably an older world, an older
word that doesn't get used
Yeah.
very often in the modern vernacular.
1800s sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I believe we're going to delve into your golf bag. I believe so. Belvedere, run this. Over to you, brother. Obsessions with Zuuc.
Thanks, mate. I guess clearly one of the obsessions all golfers have is their own clubs, and it's one of those things that you can probably tell a lot about someone by their clubs. I don't know what my clubs say about me. I have some suspicions.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So I'll bring it up on the screen and I'll talk through it quickly, and then we might break it down club by club, Ash. And I think we'll
love it.
All right, let's do that.
Can't wait. Can't wait. It's just like looking inside your mind.
This is currently what's in the bag and what I'm looking to game this weekend. Generally, I don't play a full bag. I generally play half a bag, but I kept getting bugged by Jake, friend of the show, to bring my full suite of clubs. So this week I will. But anyway, starting at the top, playing a Mizuno MP 650 driver. It's not adjustable. It's bounded. It's bonded at the hosel, 10.5 degree. It's probably about
what
10,
year is that
old,
one? Is
10,
that like
12-year-old club? So it's probably about 2010, something like that. 2010, 2011.
That is fantastic, Zuuc. Very, very similar to my ERC Fusion driver I use too. So I'm liking that, man. Very good.
I don't carry a fairway wood. I have a driving iron, which is a Mizuno Fly High 2 iron, which I think is 16.5 degrees.
Where is that in the bag there in that picture, Chris?
Right in the middle. It's a black club, so it doesn't show up against my black.
I see it. Yep, next to your driver.
Bag. But you call it a utility iron. I only use it off the tee. It's certainly not off the deck.
Yep.
Then I have a blended set of irons, some modern and some vintage, I suppose is what you would say. In terms of my longer irons, and these are probably what I would use solely off the tee for longer par threes, is some Mizuno JPX 921s, a 4 and a 5. And then I have some old school Mizuno MP 14s, which are blades that Tiger Woods used to use.
Right.
And I'm currently looking to game 5 through to 8. And
can I ask you, Chris, before you keep going, Chris, what's JPX? Is that Japanese model or what's JPX mean?
Effectively, Mizuno have 2 ranges of irons. They have their MP series and their JPX series. The JPX series are what's considered to be more of their game improvement style range. So offering a bit more assistance. These are cavity-backed,
perimeter weight or something.
Irons. Those kind of things. So a bit more assistance there, whereas the MP, which is their Mizuno Pro line, these are the what are issued to tour players. These MP 14s are, I guess, turn of the millennia, so probably 1999 2000 era.
So Tiger Woods was actually using that
Tiger Woods game these. The reason why I use these is I actually don't mind the thinner sole on them. I feel that I can get through the turf and get better contact through the ball, and so that's why I'm kind of gaming those. But to be fair, I chop and change. Sometimes I'll game the JPX and switch between the two, but this is what I'm looking to play on the weekend. A suite of wedges, 46, 50, 54 and 58. I might replace the 46 with a 9 iron. It just depends how I'm feeling.
Do the Mizuno, are they called a sand wedge or are they degrees?
Or degrees. So the 46 degree, which is effectively equivalent to a 9 iron.
9?
I guess.
Yeah.
9s are normally around 45, or at least traditional 9 would be. Traditional
50 is about a pitching wedge, right?
Yeah. And then you got 54 sand.
54 approach wedge. Okay.
Sand, and then 58 is probably my lob. And then putter, I've recently transitioned to a broomstick. I've really enjoyed the transition. I think it's certainly helped me. Being a taller gentleman, I think
you are tall.
There's some benefits there in terms of not having to bend over as much. And one of the things that sold me on it is really generally in life, precision movements take place or are undertaken by just one hand. So if you think if you're cutting something, a scalpel or with a scalpel or throwing a dart, it's all one-handed. And so the benefit of the long putter or the broomstick is effectively the putting motion is undertaken by one hand, being your right hand.
Right.
Your left hand is really just on top
like
of
anchoring it, is it?
Yeah, anchoring.
Yeah.
Well, not that you can anchor it against your body anymore, but
of course,
holding it in place. And essentially the pendulum movement, that's your stroke, is solely undertaken by your right hand, me being right-handed. I've certainly found that's improved my stroke, improved my putting, and certainly glad I made the transition to that.
Awesome. Okay.
And then in terms of ball, kind of switching between the two, my RB 556 and the Bridgestone Tour B RX. The Bridgestone ball's a bit harder, so occasionally I might use that off the tee for where I'm using my driver. Whereas if I'm on and off the tee, I might use I'll probably use the RB ball.
Off the one.
So
awesome.
So that's the bag.
Dude.
I don't know what it says about me. It's a bit eclectic. It probably, if I'm being harsh on myself, I probably think I'm a better golfer than I actually am, given the kind of clubs.
It's all about how
use.
much you enjoy it. It's about the passion. It's about how much you enjoy. Can we delve into your broomstick for a sec, Chris?
Sure.
I did use a broomstick putter in about 90, 95, 96, 97 when they were allowed to be anchored. I think this was back when I believe Stuart Appleby possibly was using a broomstick putter back in the 90s. I am a fan, but the rules changed, didn't they? They changed 20 years ago, and you didn't see broomsticks anymore. So I'm really happy to see you've got it out in your bag. Is there any chance you pick it up? Is it there behind you, mate, or is it in the shed?
It's behind me. It's the White Hot Odyssey long.
Oh, mate, I'm a massive fan of Odyssey putters. Okay, awesome. White Hot.
So,
those White Hot faces are beautiful, aren't they? They're just such a lovely putter. Is it heavier than a normal putter head, being a broomstick? Or is it regular?
Putter head's fine. It's just, it's one of those things I don't notice the difference in weight. Obviously, it's heavier just because of the longer shaft length and the like. But weight certainly isn't a factor. Certainly, like I said, it's one of those things. Once you get used to it, you get used to it. In terms of the face, the shaft joins in the middle. There's no bend, bend and the like.
I've got an Odyssey with a bend in mind.
Yeah. So in terms of that, whatever the plumbers, whatever they call that,
plumb bobbing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But I've found the transition to be useful for me, and I would recommend giving it a go, to see if it is something that can benefit your game.
Yep. So back to your driver as well. I use a really similar. I use the Callaway ERC Fusion 3 driver, fixed head. It's from about the same vintage, 2010, 2011. It looks so similar, dude, to my ERC. Is that forgiving? You feel it pretty forgiving?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I've tried others. And this just seems to be, I don't know whether it's the shaft that I like, or I think there's a bit to do with the weight as well. The weight feels about right. And it's one of those clubs that sometimes with the way of the head design, you feel you're fighting just to get it through the air. This one seems to just, with my swing, I can get through the ball and get some ball speed there. I'm currently swinging around.
What's your ball speed? Yeah, and your swing speed. I really want to know.
Swing speed, I am currently trying to do some swing speed work, and was out in the backyard doing some work. And my average the last time I was out there, which was a couple of days ago, was about 102 mph.
Yes, okay. Yeah, okay.
And obviously that's average, so it can get up to 105 and it can drop below 100 mph. But and with that, if I'm feeling it, I will get the ball up above 150 mph off the face.
Wow.
So So yeah.
So you're over 100 miles per hour. That's cool.
Yep.
Really good.
Yep.
Nice. I can only get to about 97 at the most at the moment. Wow, impressive, man. Hey, thanks for letting us delve into your bag, man. If you were to ask me what does that say about Chris, I think you value quality. You have a mixture of old and new, so you're innovative. I think, and this pretty much is you. You're a smart man. You're innovative, and the quality. It's all about quality and heritage. I believe. If I was to look at your bag and think that, would that be fair? Fair comment.
They're generous comments. And no, thank you. Yeah, no, I'll certainly look. I'm always looking for, the right tool for myself, and I'd like to think that they are quality clubs, and hopefully I can get the job done.
Nothing like hitting the course with your favourite tools.
Absolutely.
Thank you. After the break, we're going to have Ripped or Yipped.
Big brand golf balls up to 70% cheaper than retail. We're one of Australia's largest sellers of second-hand golf balls, so you save big time. Discountgolfballs.com.au.
Hey fellas, Belvedere here again. It's time to go around the table with Ripped or Yipped. Let's see what side of the argument the boys are on. Ripped or Yipped. Back to you, Ash.
Thank you, Belvedere. You're watching the ECG Hackers podcast. You might be on Spotify or YouTube. You could be on Instagram. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to anyone who watches us. Our subscribers are slowly getting up there. Please like and subscribe this on YouTube and help us build this channel.
We've got a couple watching live, which is nice. So
we do. Shout out to you guys. Please subscribe and help us build this. We do it every week. We love golf. We do it for the passion of it all, basically. Each week we try and do 2 segments each week, or 3. The news with Zuuc. Then we do Ripped or Yipped and Who's in Your 4-ball. So this week we're going to do Ripped or Yipped now. It's just the 2 of us. It's intimates. I've got about 9.
It's not around the table. It's across the table.
Not around the table. It's across the table. It's looking you in the eyes, brother. Ripped or Yipped. Alignment sticks in your golf bag. Ripped or Yipped.
I'm a yipped.
Guys rock up to the course. They've got alignment sticks everywhere.
Yeah, I'm a yipped. I've never used them, and it's probably one of those things I probably should. My golf buddy Jake always gives me a hard time about where I'm pointing and where I'm directing my shot, where I'm aiming. So there's probably something I could learn from using them, but at present I don't have them, so it's yipped. Yep.
I'm gonna go, mate. Just use like I always do. Just use your 7-iron on the deck while you're practicing. Use that shaft. I'm gonna go yipped. I can't stand it when they're playing golf on the course and they've got their alignment sticks in their bag. I think that's yipped, but that's just me. This is a great one. We just came out delving into your golf bag. Using vintage clubs in your bags. Using vintage clubs, ripped or yipped.
Oh well, that's 100% yip from me. I enjoy
ripped.
Oh, ripped. Sorry. Wow. I'm all over the place. What mental space am I in? 100% ripped. I enjoy playing, those vintage clubs. Obviously, I've got delusions of grandeur every time I tee up, thinking I'm Tiger Woods playing with some MP14s. But that being said, it's one of those things. A blade's a blade. Honestly, I don't know what technological improvements are out there. And honestly, if you trawl eBay, you can find yourself some good deals if you're willing to play some clubs that are a few years old.
100%.
Big brands, top manufacturers, quality manufacturing. If you don't have the latest and greatest, you're still playing with a quality piece of kit. So
absolutely couldn't agree with you more, man. There's so many things. You and I, Chris, that's probably why we're mates and we run this bloody podcast, because there's some things we have in common. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm going to go ripped. Using vintage clubs. Like if you think I rock these Callaway wedges from 20 years old. These are forged. The technology, anything technology from 2002 onwards as far as I'm concerned, is top notch. I mean, there's been very little real improvement in irons in the last 25 years, really. A lot in woods and drivers.
Yeah, that would be
so-
my caveat. That's where I would say,
Yeah.
yes, you probably need to be a bit more modern in that part of your bag. But when it comes to irons, I think you can probably get away with some vintage stuff.
Yeah,
Obviously, balls, different story. But when it comes to irons, 100% I'm with you on this.
Absolutely. And I love getting these out. They've got so much character.
What
And
vintage
a bit
is
of a
that?
head turn.
What vintage is that?
These are from 2006. I think the ones with the circle around the number are a little bit newer. Got ones without the circle. I think they're the late 90s.
All right, so they're about 15 to 20 years old. Very cool.
15, 20 years old. Yeah. My driver's almost 20 years old as well. Love it. That's great. And I'm gonna do the bag soon as well. In an upcoming episode. All right. Indoor Trackman golf clubs and tournaments, ripped or yipped. Indoor Trackman organized tournaments, ripped or yipped.
For me personally, yipped. I can see their place. For me, part of playing golf is actually getting out and enjoying the outdoors. So naturally, I would prefer to be outdoors on course, and hence my response. But certainly, we're blessed in Australia where we can play golf all year round. Granted, not as much sunshine, but it is possible during the winter months. But there are those around the world where it is not possible, and there is purely a golf season. So I can see that they have a place. But for me personally, it's a yipped.
Yep. Cool. I'm going to go. I just recently joined Golf 24. So Trackman based tournaments and practice range. I'm going to say ripped. I'm really excited by it. I love being outside. Don't get me wrong. It's all about being outside. But I'm going to be able to go 24 hours a day. I can get up Sunday morning before the kids wake up and play a round of golf, and then still have the whole day. So, and it's not going to cost me $100. It's going to cost me $35. So for that matter, I think it's going to be good just to keep the swing going, man, until I play a tournament or so. I'm playing a tournament in a couple of weeks, actually. So I've got to get my stats up. Awesome. So listening to music while I'm practicing helps me concentrate. Ripped or yipped?
100% ripped, particularly in a loud environment such as a driving range, particularly with a lot of people around, people doing their own thing, some people talking, some people, talking to themselves. I certainly whack in the earbuds and get in my own zone, and try and focus on my own game and tune out from the rest of the world while I'm there. So that's ripped for me.
Yeah, so I got the AirPods out. I'm going to go ripped as well. I don't listen to music when I play, but I definitely listen to music when I'm swinging. Golf at the range is like a meditation for me. Yep. It's the time you can just be alone with your skills and try and better yourself as a human. I love listening to Tycho when I practice, Tycho, just sort of chill music. Okay. If you're looking to listen to something, try Tycho, Tycho. Moisture wicking fabrics, ripped or yipped?
Look, the whole swamp ass dilemma is probably something that gets a little overdue attention here on the ECG. And I guess you brought this up just because of some of the recent releases from Lululemon, particularly their so-called Show Zero material. Which won't show sweat. Unfortunately, it's only restricted to polos, so it might be able to hide the man boob sweat, but they still haven't been able to solve the swamp ass problem.
Downstairs,
it's not happening downstairs. But look, I'm all for performance materials. Clearly wearing some now, so ripped.
Yeah, ripped. I'm ripped as well. I'm wearing a Callaway one now. Amazing stuff. Where were we without it? We're wearing cotton chinos.
Yeah,
and
horrible.
Horrible. And just when you wear those cotton chinos, it just gets so hot down there, man. It's awful. Ankle socks are copping a hiding at the moment now. I think where the next generation of youngsters are smashing us for wearing ankle socks. So ankle socks with golf shoes, ripped or yipped. Don't worry about what the trends are saying, but Do you wear ankle socks with golf shoes, ripped or yipped?
Oh, look, one of my other passions is running. And so socks are a big focus as much as shoes. So I'm certainly very careful around what kind of socks I wear, given the the amount of Ks I do and avoiding blistering and all those kind of things. I always wear socks that are over the ankle and go all the way up.
Okay.
So I'm a rip then. Anything that's below ankle height, no, not for me.
Oh wow! I thought you might be an ankle sock lover, but I was going to go yipped as well. I feel like when I'm wearing golf shoes and ankle socks, it's a bit too like feminine or something. I don't know, showing my ankles while I'm playing. But I do love compression socks. And I've got a terrible feet and Achilles, so I wear them like as high as I can, man.
Perfect. I would support that 100%.
Nice. Now, foam golf balls, those little coloured foam golf balls. I tried to get a picture of one, but I couldn't find one. Ripped or yipped foam golf balls for the practice, that is.
Currently yipped, but looking to explore. I think I might look to get some. It's one of those things. I think there's probably some value in just getting tempo, particularly around your flop shots and some chipping. I think there's some value there. Beyond that, I don't really see it. But yeah, I don't own any. I'm curious to see what they can do. So I'm currently yipped, but looking to transition to ripped.
I don't own them, but I'll go ripped because I have used them. I think we used them at Dooley's bonfire.
Bonfire night.
Backyard. I had the lob wedge out. That actually started a big thing for me. It got me back into golf. I'd have those foam balls, and we were trying to lob them into the fire. I think they're great for wedge, just tempo, like you said. Get your swing out, go down the park, get a few of those. I'll go ripped. Not that I have any. I do eye them off. All right. Live golfers wearing their team gear in non-live events. Ripped or yipped?
Look.
Picture on screen if you're watching.
Yeah. I don't know how to categorize this. I don't know if it is a bit of an FU to the PGA whilst they're playing in the majors, or whether it's one of those things that they're there, they're part of the team. They should market the team for their sponsors and their own brand recognition. So I think I fall on the latter. I don't think it is an FU. I think it is part of the branding and the marketing of Live, and particularly the teams themselves. So I think I'm ripped. Yeah, ripped.
Yeah, cool. I was going to go ripped as well. I think I don't think it's an FU. It's when you think about it, Bryce, that's his major sponsor. You know, like he's made more money out of that brand on his hat than he will out of anything. So it's ripped. It's a sponsor's deal. It's that simple. Yeah, cool. Charlie Hull is a young lass golfer. Charlie Hull was seen smoking a cigarette while signing autographs yesterday at the US, I think it's the US Open. Picture on screen if you're watching live or on the replay on the left there. So ripped or yipped, Charlie Hull smoking the ciggy?
I'm going to go yipped. We're in a professional environment here. This is a major on the LPGA tour. One of the top tier events. She is a professional. I don't know that it's necessarily the right look for the tour, let alone her sponsors. And we were just talking about branding before with Bryson. I'd probably be disappointed if I was one of her sponsors.
Yep.
And it's certainly not the image.
Can you bring that picture up? I'll bring it up. Sorry. Yeah, I'll bring it up. Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm an ex-smoker. I smoke cigars on the golf course. But most golf courses won't even let you smoke on them in Australia. So, and this is the big stage, the US Open. We've got this young lady setting a pretty bad example. I don't want to sound too conservative, but I think tailor-made. I think that sponsorship will be definitely not happy with what they've done there. So I don't know. It doesn't look good. And I'm surprised the PGA even lets you smoke, to be honest with you. I would have thought they would have outlawed it, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
I'm
it
just
certainly
sounding
as
really
as
old.
the image there, it certainly is harkening back to images of John Daly and his cigarettes, cans of Coke, and Snickers bars, and the like.
There's a
But,
great there is a great bit of footage. I don't know what his name. It's the caddy for Tiger Woods in about 1998. He had a big walrus looking dude, big beard.
Oh,
He used to
Fluff.
smoke, and and he was holding the cigarette up to see which way the smoke was going in Augusta.
to judge
that's
the
one of
wind.
the-
It's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, it is. Bloody is. Cool. Last one. This one comes from Jace Club Lock. He's still overseas, mate. He's still carving it up.
Still.
I believe. Still carving up. I think he's in Portugal. I can see him live on Instagram. He's watching us right now. He sent us this and he said, put this in ripped or yipped. Playing mini golf by yourself in Portugal, ripped or yipped.
Oh, look, I'm going to have to go yipped. He's in Portugal, Costa do Sol.
is.
Surely there's better things to do than playing putt-putt by himself. And knowing Jace, surely he could keep himself occupied with other things.
That's right.
But as a golf fan, a tip of the cap. Well done. This course looks actually pretty good as far as a mini golf goes. But
it looks pretty solid.
But he at least he's outdoors. I give him props for that.
Right. And he's got I'll go yipped, Jace. You need some other sort of shaft in your
At
hand.
Car Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited auto car washes for less than $10 a week. For details, head to Car Lovers.
There we are. Welcome
I'm sure
back.
you meant by shaft. You meant pool cue. I'm sure he's tearing up.
Yeah,
pool
he just
balls.
should have
He's a
been
pretty good,
tearing up
he's
the
a
pool
pretty
hall.
good
He's-
player. He's a pretty
he's a
good
shark.
player, Jace.
He is
a
a
shark.
All right. So another segment we do each week is who's in your four ball, Belvedere, if you will.
Hey there, everyone. It's Belvedere here again. It's time for this week's Who's in Your 4-Ball? Back to you, Ash Man.
Thank you, Belvedere. He's back from. He came back early from Greece. He's left Jace over in Portugal by himself. This week's four ball. I actually had a bit of fun with this one. It's not a funny one by any stretch of the imagination. This week's who's in your four ball is high rollers or fancy financiers. All based on the fact that we're in Monaco this week for the Formula One Grand Prix. We weren't. They were. I would have liked to be. So it was all about the high rollers on the water there watching the Formula One. Now, did you watch the Formula One? Silly question.
I did, and regretted it. It wasn't a great race. So there's a couple of reasons why that wasn't the case. This is a golf podcast, not an F1 podcast. I won't bore our listeners with it, but it wasn't a great spectacle. So I'll leave it at that.
No worries. I watched something that was interesting on KO, the sporting channel here in Australia, the subscription sporting channel. They had this thing called the Kidcast. So it's this new thing. They Kidcast the Formula One. And I was watching it. It's just basically the feed without commentary, right?
It's got kids commentating. They're pretty cluey kids that as part of the
on the one I was
Sky
watching,
telecast.
there was no audio. Okay, so I wasn't getting the audio feed.
No, but they have an alternative commentary which is performed by girls and boys of age from about 10 to 16. They all qualify. They all they go through a pretty big process to get to that stage, and some of them are actually very, very good.
Really good. Yeah, cool. Maybe we can do that for golf. Get something like that for golf. All right. So the who's in your four ball fancy financiers? Who'd like to go first, Chris? You or I? In this
Traditionally, it's me, isn't it? Traditionally, it's me.
It's golf's all about traditions.
Right, I went a slightly different tact here because of Monaco. You think tax-free, whereas I thought Monaco's tax dodging. So I filled a team full of tax dodgers. So that's basically what I had. So a bit of an eclectic mix. Certainly not going to do well on the golf course, but it was just made for some interesting reading, and so I've picked them up in my squad. So my team captain is the country music icon Willie Nelson.
Oh,
now,
okay.
At one point, he owed the IRS $16.7 million in taxes, interest, and penalties, but was able to cut a deal and reduce the debt to around $6 million. But in order to be able to pay that debt, he released an album titled "The IRS Tapes." Who will buy my memories?
Really?
And the proceeds from that was able to help him alleviate himself of that debt. So hopefully that kind of creativity might be able to translate on the course, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Very good.
Also in my team, there's a long list of baseballers who have failed to pay taxes, but one I did pick up, who was one of my favorite baseball players when I was young, and we won't mention the '86 World Series, is Darryl Strawberry. Now he had a silky smooth swing and was very athletic around the field. So I'd like to think that swing and athleticism would translate onto the golf course. And so he failed to report around $500,000 worth of income, which doesn't seem much, but we are talking 1986 to 1990.
Yeah. 86. Okay.
Yeah, 86 to 1990. And he pled guilty to the tax evasion and was sentenced to 3 months in prison and 3 months in-house arrest. So, I
guess that's $500,000 in 86 is probably worth about like a $5 million now, I guess.
Probably.
Yeah.
And the last one, I don't know if you remember the winner of the original Survivor, Richard Hatch.
Yes,
the guy
I do.
Was famous for appearing naked wherever he had the opportunity around there. Well, he failed to report over $1 million in earnings from 2000 to 2001, and this was largely due to his earnings whilst on the show and after. He was sentenced to 51 months in prison in May 2006, then was transitioned to some supervised day release in October 2009.
I thought you were going to say he transitioned.
No, he must have liked jail because he ended up back in there for another 9 months. I think it was 2011 because he failed to refile amended tax returns upon his release. So I don't know why he would have done it, but anyway. So that's my team. I don't think we're going to tear up the course, but some interesting tax evaders in the lineup. So over to you.
It. Very good. This would have been right up your alley. Not that you're a tax evader. I've just been you're the money man. You're the numbers guy. I've come up. I had a lot of fun with this actually.
Cool.
So my team captain, he was a one-time owner of all the Mirage resorts here in Australia. So there's Port Douglas. He pretty much put Port Douglas on the map in Australia.
Yep.
Port Douglas is a lovely spot up near Cairns.
I think I know where you're going here. I'm loving it. Good choice.
Nice.
Keep going.
One-time owner of the Mirage Resorts. In 1989, he attempted to buy the MGM studios. That deal fell through. One thing led to another. His empire began to crumble. He spent the last of his years in exile in Mallorca, Spain, until he passed in 2001. My team captain is Christopher Skase. Now, there's rumours that his love child is actually John Rahm. He was in Spain at the same time as John Rahm was born. I don't know. I was trying to draw some sort of ridiculous parallel.
But no, that's a good pick. You'll have plenty of courses to play on.
Yes, yes, that's right. Actually, my picks definitely do run along with what I play. My second guy, he's like the anchor. Passed away in 2015. Australian businessman, noted for his very high profile and often corrupt business dealings.
Okay.
These included his central role in the Western Australia Incorporated scandal of the 1980s. He is one of the biggest corporate collapses in Australian history and his criminal conviction saw him serve 4 years in prison. He pretty much bankrolled the 1983 America's Cup Australian entrance into the America's Cup, where we beat the Americans after they'd had it for 132 years. He also founded a university, which is literally 2 kilometres from where I live right now, Bond University in the Gold Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, the anchor of my team is Alan Bond. Bringing up
interesting. It'd be interesting having those two on the team because they were effectively financial enemies, so to speak. There was a lot of competition between the two of them in terms of who had the greater financial prowess and who had the bigger empire and all those kind of things. So that's interesting.
And the giddy heights of the late 80s.
Oh, it was crazy. Like one of the craziest business deals was Bond buying Channel 9, and he bought it for like $1 billion and ended up selling it back to Packer for $100 million, and it's just ridiculous. So
it's crazy. Must have been
crazy times. Crazy times.
Bringing up the rear is current gentleman still with us, this Aussie businessman, former politician. He deals with a lot of mining, iron ore, nickel, coal. He actually owns 2 golf courses within 2 kilometres where I live as well, right near Bond University, funny enough. They are Palmer Colonial, Palmer Rabina. He also has Palmer up at Port Douglas. He used to own the Gold Coast United Football Club until that fell apart. I have Clive Frederick Palmer as my 4-ball bookend. So Christopher Skase, Alan Bond, and Clive Palmer in the Ashman's 4-ball.
Interesting mix.
Don't know how it would go, but a bit of fun. Yeah, learn something
Absolutely.
too. Nice, mate. That's about it for the week. Anything you want to touch on before we leave? You playing this weekend? You playing any golf?
Yeah, no, hitting North Turramurra again on the weekend with Jake. Hopefully my game picks up. I'm actually a bit afraid. I don't know whether I'm going to how I'm going to play. It's one of those things.
Is this from the
Chris or bad Chris? It was the infamous. It is the infamous. It is the stage at which the incident occurred. So I don't know what kind of mental state I'm going to be in. But I brought the driver out on the weekend, this past weekend, after doing my penance. It was on fire. I was hitting the ball very, very well.
Oh, nice.
Hitting the ball well off the tee. But everything else was a bit so-so. But the putter was good. So we'll see how we go. I'm just a bit on edge about returning. Yeah, but we'll see how we go.
Well, good luck with that. If you listen to the podcast about 3 episodes ago, Chris shared with us his confession. You can go back and listen to it. I'm going to play 7:30 on Sunday morning. I'm playing a Golf 24 Paris tournament. Oh. I'm going to give it a go. Just get out there and have a hit. I bought a new driver, and I took it to the range and brought it out, and I'm telling you what, it's given me the yips straight away. The weight's different.
Damn.
And I've gone, I'm duck hooking, and now all of a sudden I could crush him down the middle pretty well. Now, oh my God, it just takes one little thing, golf, and it can turn your game upside down. It just goes to show it's all about what's in the head. That's about an hour's up. Brother, thanks for joining us. Thanks if you're watching at home. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm the Ashman. That's Zuuc. That was the ECG Hackers podcast. See you next week.
Catch you next week.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Each week we are dropping a new episode which you can find on Spotify or YouTube.